G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag from Pistol Pete's little lair here where he's actively hunting the landlord, believe it or not. He looks to be making some kind of progress. He's been dropped off some craft beers and an array of other goodies, so I think he might be half on there. We'll update you next week where we'll have Jonathan Walsh on to do the All-Star Mile, which I didn't want to get him on today because these two blokes, whilst they do bet big, and this guy bets bigger than you think. This is Jackson, he's on debut. Jacko, welcome.
Thanks, Dicko.
Nick, you two shake hands. I'll give you one too if you want. Big punter at Betfair, and Nico, you know very well, both don't like drinking beer, which is a problem. I'm going to try and find a bet throughout the day where we're going to wager upon you guys having a drink of beer on the next show you come on. But yeah, they don't drink, so they're not 100% sweet, but they do bet. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to look at races 3, 4, 6, and 8 in depth. So that's the two races earlier. I don't know what they're called, but that's the Newmarket and the Australian Cup at the end. I'll quickly touch on race 1 after Nick gives us a little bit of a guide. With the rails out 8, Nick, they've set it to heavy 8.
Currently, I reckon we'll end up playing with about a soft 6 on Saturday, maybe a soft 5.
Given on cut day, there was like 55 mil on the day, and it went down to a heavy 8 or 9, and then was somehow back to a soft 6. This track, surely it will be bouncing right back.
Oh, you think it's just a matter of how much rain they get in the next sort of 2 days leading up to the meeting. Like if they, if the rain sort of stays around, it might not allow it to dry out. But if it's kind of goes away, like I don't know where 60 mil come from. Well, I was looking at the predicted forecast was about 1 to 5.
Well, filled up the Dog's Bowl down there on the peninsula, or Bayside, or whatever I'm allowed to call it. You've got to be very careful what you call it around Nicholas. He gets very touchy because he's obviously still paying board there at home, but he treats it like it's his.
Of course, yeah.
And he doesn't want me to claim that I live in that same area. So, Bayside, a lot of rain last night.
A lot of rain.
Yeah.
But that's not Flemington.
It was a lot of rain everywhere, I think.
Jackson, how do you think that's going to influence the track? What sort of pattern are you anticipating, young man, on debut? Playing once from the midweek podcast, now you're playing first grade.
Now I'm playing here up in the seniors. I think it'll play relatively even. Is the hope. I think you want to be somewhere near on speed, but I'm just going to watch and act. I don't really have a firm opinion either way.
Nicholas,
Yeah,
Golden Locks.
I think you'll want to be nearer to the speed early, but just on the day if otherwise.
I think as a rule, we want to be midfield one off to more rear. I'm going to be opposing horses on pace early on. As always, I'll adjust as the day unfolds, but I think with this rain, the amount of racing this track's seen, I want to be finding horses that are going to get sort of middle part of the straight there, out into sort of lanes like 15, 16, if you're on the true, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
As always, this previous show, powered by puntingform.com.au, all the boys on this panel use puntingform.com.au. We all use a sectional Proform subscription, couldn't live without it. Powered by betfair.com.au. We're going to be talking about back end, and we're going to be talking about laying horses on the show today. Head to Betfair. If you're not headed there already, you've got problems. You can get better odds consistently, especially on race day. You can just take the Betfair SP, you'll still be in front. And always it's hydrated by Goat Lager out of the pure and freshly now drenched waters at the Yarra. So, boys.
Plenty that fresh when I
Yeah,
drove past it.
plenty of the Yarra when I was walking.
That adds that flavour.
Yeah.
If you can handle, if you're on a steady diet of goat, like I am, and you fucking should be, coronavirus doesn't even exist to me because I'm always building up antibiotics in my body. Anyway, I'm not joking.
No, I believe
It seasons the body to handle like a big weekend, which hopefully you two are going to start to think about doing as you get older. Nick, I think it's about time you sort of started to let those locks out, Chapel Street, that sort of operation. Anyway, race 1, punters, we've got differing views on how the track's going to play. Race 1, we're going to just quickly touch on. I think the market is spot on. The Hayes horse looks like it can win, and Muntasira couldn't have been any more impressive in the Blue Diamond. If it runs, it's going to be very hard to beat. I think the market's spot on, so therefore we're not overly interested in getting involved. Race 3 is a fascinating race, 400 metres, 135k race. Spends our favourite. There's the market coming up now, followed by my speed map. We've got Catalan, who was well back, not suited, off a good win at a provincial meeting in New South Wales. Then there's a very interesting runner here, which I'm sure Nicholas will get up and about. Russian Camelot. Danny O'Brien, D Lane. There's good horses here. Vegas Knight, Scottish Dancer's got ability. The Lifeline, SP $5 versus Warning, way back at Flemington, where it was not suited at all. It could run out of the ground here. Gave pinch one yesterday, which sickeningly I didn't suggest a unit on, but I did get a lot out of.
All the Sava.
The parade outstanding, didn't it? I saw you there, the other side of the fence.
Yeah, just popping away.
Walked beautifully, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. No, it was great. I didn't get anything out of it either.
I apologise for that.
No.
But even down a horse like Westport, not suited last start, your deal comes out of the Alabama Alligator Blood race. So, deep race. Nick, thoughts?
Look, I think Russian Camelot's the only bet I could entertain in the race. So I want to see him parade. I think what I've seen at the jump outs, he's come back in very good order. I want to see your sort of assessment from him from the mounting yard. There is a massive spruik on this horse. It's huge. It's one of the biggest spruiks I've heard. Whether that's true or false, who knows? But of what we've seen today, he looks a pretty talented horse. And for mine, if he's ready to go there on Saturday, he could put this field away comfortably.
But given you anticipate the track's going to be on pace,
Yeah.
surely you're not interested. You're not even thinking about wagering upon this thing. At
I think it'll
$5.
be fairly even. Like, if you're a good enough horse, I reckon you'll be able to come from the back. But like you said, with the rain, the track may cut out and it may play to sort of those back markers, which would, suit me on the day if it did, to be honest. So at sort of $5, if he stays that price on the day, and you found him from the yard, I'm going to have to back him because I think he's a serious horse.
Jacko?
Yeah, I thought there was angles everywhere. I thought Russian Camelot's the most likely winner, but I want to see your mounting yard assessment, obviously, and hope to get some sort of guide on the track by then. Horses I have plenty of time for are Catalan and Vegas Knight, but both I don't think are going to be suited by the map. Spend has the 440 SP against Darlasan and a Super Seth, but I thought this was suited last start, and I thought Blinker's first time he could just be gone. So I thought Russian Camelot most likely winner, but I can't bet until I see the yard.
I think if the first two races have been on pace, which these two boys are tipping, I think you're wrong, but if you're right, I think Spen's almost a moral here.
Moral?
Yeah.
Whoa!
If the track's fair,
Early M word drop.
if the track's fair though, I don't want to be with it. I think of the on-pace horses, this horse comes from hot races in the right stable. It's not running if it's not right.
This is his best chance. To
Blinkers
win.
on, like if it's the track's favouring on speed horses, I don't see how they catch it. If it's fair, yeah, Russian Camelot looks just an outstanding operation. It looks a really good bet. I think this horse is aimed at the Queensland Derby punters. Race 4, boys. It's over the 1600 metres, or as it's known, the mile. There's a synthetic hold. Up comes a speed map to follow that. Jacko, you got anything for us here? Actually, you wait, because I know you do. What do you got?
Well, I think we've all found the same horse.
Oh, hey,
here.
you go first, Sam. Let's not take this
I'll let
moment.
Jacko take the credit.
Oh,
Second race is previewed on the show. I think he's about to drop it.
yeah, she's an absolute moral here. Spanish Reef. There's a good case to be made that she's in career best form. Prior to this campaign, she'd only broken 10 lengths above the all average 3
Punting
times.
time at Condor benchmark figure. That's what he's talking about there, Bunny.
That's what 3 times in her career. She's done it both starts this prep, going 10.4 lengths above first up, and then with a really big close. She was completely unsuited last start. Didn't get a chance to build through her momentum. Was sort of only clear at the 200. I really like the way she found the line. Third up, 1600 metres, Flemington. Barrier 6 looked perfect. D-lane on, just a moral.
Nicholas.
Yeah, I marked her $3 and she's $5. So given that, I'll be betting accordingly.
I thought it was an absolute barrier trial first up at Caulfield where she savaged the line. I think she was the fastest or second fastest close on the day, best in the race, behind Sylvia's mother, who came out and won last week. Not suited at all by that awful track at Caulfield. Last start, did more than enough. Love Flemington, love the mile, love Zara off, love D-lane on, love barrier 6. I think it's as good a bet as you'll get. It's got an SP, dominant SP over Graceful Glamour, who was completely and utterly blessed at Caulfield. If it's completely and utterly blessed again here, it's a chance, but I still think Spanish Reef from barrier 6 are on the top of it.
Yeah. And she has good wet track form as well, so that's not going to be an issue.
Fidelia showed a little bit last week to suggest she might like sort of scare you late. Bams on Fire's SP's strong. A horse like My Pendant can win. Like there's depth to the race. But from barrier 6, third up, Spanish Reef just looks like a real Kenny Keys setup job, and I have appropriately launched all my cannons at it.
Yeah.
Please God, Allah, Buddha, Zeus, Odin, and Harry Potter, give that thing strength, because it's going to dictate the financial freedom of my family for the next week. Race number 6, punters, the Newmarket Handicap, 1200 metres down the straight, 1.2 mil. There's some impressive big future stallions here. This is a big race. This is a good race. There's a hold. Up comes the speed map, which I think is a little bit tricky. You can sort of get half guessing here. Snicko, the man with the golden locks. You're a big trial man. Exceeders had 3 of them.
Yeah.
I thought they were all a bit plain.
The more I watch...
But it's a Hawks yard. It's a valuable colt. What's it doing here if it's not 100% right?
The more I watched him, the more I started to fall in love with him. So I think he's ready to go there Saturday. They haven't had the blinkers on in any of his jump outs. He'll be, like you said, he's had 3 of them. The blinkers go on race day. He doesn't have any of the stinky sort of lead-up form, like the lightning stage, small field. Geitra realistically won a 3-horse race down one side of the fence, and Loving Gabby was in her own race. I'm not sort of sold on that form. You look back through like last campaign, Exceedance beating Bivouac this track and trip on what will be very similar conditions on Saturday. I thought $5 was overs. I thought he was more like a $3.50 chance. I thought Bivouac was more like a $4.20 chance. I think Loving Gabby's taking up too much percentage in the market at this early stage. I thought she was more sort of $7.50 in my market, and Geitra and Zatori, I might nearly double their prices. I don't want to be near them. I'll be playing quarterly. I'll be betting up Exceedance. Very keen. If you sort of, want to launch some units from the Mountie Yard Mail, I'll be definitely having a good crack there. And my save will be Bivouac. I just think they're the 2 best horses in the race. I'm going to play accordingly.
Jacko?
Yeah, not too much more to add. Only 2 horses in the race. I thought I was keen Bivouac until the rains come. Like Bivouac obviously has the SPs, like SP 135 over Exceedances of $4.80, and they flipped. But with the rain, I think barrier 11. I think it's going to be in the best part of the track. I'm team Exceedance as well, but you can probably back them both at the price because I think there's the only 2 horses.
I think that there's a horse here. I think Exceedance will start favourite. I think you're going to be dealing with about $4, $3.80 come the jump, which will dictate. I'm not going to bet Toll 7 Parade, right? So when I'm talking about it, I'm thinking that it needs to be a real good parade, and I need to be confident that the outside part of the straight's the best place to be, and they can run on because it'll be last. But I think it's going to get a really good line into the race. I think the Inevitable will run a huge race. And he's almost about each way if you like it. If you like it, back it. We had Scotty Brunton on the Little Birdie pod on SEN just before, and he is declaring it. Very confident.
Really?
I think Libertini, drawn 12, has some speed. I thought it was not overly suited in the good Coolmore race. It's going to be like there to be beaten.
Well, she SP'd $5.
Yeah, race, and then she's the SP bet here out of the Coolmore.
Yeah.
Zatori should have won the Oakley Plate if Jay Carr showed any intent in the first half of the race. D Lane gets on. It's flying, but it's very it can't be $10 and Libertini $10.
Yeah, I agree.
Libertini is the one that's value in the current market to my eye. The Inevitable scares me big time, but I think that's how I'll end up playing the race. I'll be with Libertini, with the Inevitable. That's the first 2 down the outside. And if they go and stop and the horse that will come over top will be Exceedance. Bivouac goes great SP profile, not suited at all the way the day was run at Caulfield. But it loses Craig Williams and gets Glenn Boss down the straight. That's not ideal. Glenn Boss is a competent rider, but he's not Craig Williams at Flemington.
I think we saw true colours of Bossy last spring. Those big races, the Golden Eagle, the Epsom, Group 1 races when we get the best of Bossy.
Yeah, I'm happy to oppose Glenn Boss on
Group 1 next to it.
Anything
he shows up.
I'm happy to be against him here. Bivouac drawn 7 could get real messy.
And keep trials the way here surely as well. Like it is way too short.
Yeah, and the fact that that Craig gets onto Loving Gabby scares the shit out of me.
Yeah,
52 kilos, that horse just doesn't run a bad race. But I think Exceedance will start favourite, therefore I'm saying it's the most likely winner in my opinion. But I think the Inevitable and Libertini are the 2 that the market's half missed punters.
What a race.
Race 8. Not as good a race, but it's still a Group 1, the Australian Cup. There's the synthetic hold. There's been a good go for Avilius. That was before the rain came. Nicholas, there goes the speed map. What are you thinking?
Well, he really comes into play now. We're going to be dealing with a soft track. He's probably one of the best wet trackers we have here in Australia. He just seems to grow another leg. If the track stays in heavy range, should be very, very hard to beat. Even soft range, I think $3.50 is probably reasonable. I was invested before he even come down. I didn't think he was going to be running in the race. I backed Kings Will Dream, Regal Power, and Mirage Dancer. I've taken overs Kings Will Dream and Regal Power, but Mirage Dancer I'll probably cop a bit of unders there. So I was a bit biased when I did the form, but now the rain's coming, I'm definitely going to have to save and have a Villiers as a winner in the race. I think they're probably the 4 most
So if
likely.
you see a bloke walking out with long hair with just a little bit of blonde at the end of it, nude, from Flemington, it's because 50 Stars or something's won this race. He's just done his absolute arse on it.
Yeah,
think
if one of those
Jacko-
4 doesn't win, it'll be cast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jacko.
Yeah, I've had a lot of futures bets as well. Avilius, Kings Will Dream, Regal Power, and I've taken 80s Harlem, so prayers. But just looking at the feature race history here on punting form, like the Peter Young's...
.com.au.
The Peter Young is obviously the leader. Like 11 of the last 12 place getters have all come out of the Peter Young. So I was keen
Great
to,
info.
So I was keen to be against Avilius until the rains come. It looks he's right set up, but I think he's like a third up, and he does go 1,400 metres, 1,600 metres, and now 2,000, but pretty quickly, I thought.
Yeah, he might like a bit of a platform.
Villiers.
Yeah.
It was a barrier trial last week. It was one of the least lowest thinking rides of all time by Hugh Bowman last week. They went that slow. And here's a ride with a big watch on, like a big stopwatch, a big fat one, like one of those losers wears to show they got a bit of cash. They're digital, so you can time it, because they absolutely walked, and he let Tiago Shark he's not going to catch it, mate.
Yeah, how he's
Unbelievably
he's behind
low
Tiago
thinking
Shark.
ride. Backs up here. He's a short, but I think it's going to win.
Yeah, look,
Like, it's going to get a great run.
I can't see
Dwayne Dunn on a stay out with ability at Flemington is a massive tick. Like, he is going to ride this horse far better than Hugh Bowman rode it last
And
week.
he could have just confidence aplenty after
Yeah.
his ridden exceedance to win the Newmarket. Like, he's in for a big day, doesn't he?
50 Stars was enormous last week. Backs up quickly, but loses Willow, cops John Allen.
Yeah,
that's not great. Miss Siska doesn't run bad races. Doesn't go bad at all, ever.
No, she's consistent, but you think
Harlan probably could have won that race at Caulfield, but it loses Oliver and gets Carr. You've got to dock 2 to 20 lengths for that.
But Card, I did ride him to win this race last year as well, so I'm not putting that as too much of a negative.
Well,
I think you're talking through your pocket.
mate, you're talking to your pocket, and also, like,
You're praying for the
if
80s.
you think one of the greatest all time is anywhere near the level of J. Carr,
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
I'll have to fucking spew him on me out. I think Avilius will be winning, but I don't know if I want to get involved yet. You need to make sure they can run on. It's probably a really good play for in-play punters on betfair.com.au. If you think they're running along and they stretch them right out, I want to be with the Aviliuses, the Regal Powers of the world.
Yeah.
Kings Will Dream from Barrier 1 is enough for me to be against. But it has been showing tactical speed. Grand final day, I bet you they don't show any tactical speed and they're right at cold as all hell.
I hope not.
And Mirage Dancer, whilst, it was huge, it did SP enormous. And now you want me to take single figures? No way.
Agreed.
Race 9, quickly touch on race 9. I think Little Contra is an absolute bet to nothing each way. Bet until it hurts. Little Contra in race 9, number 3. Race 9, number 3, Little Contra is my best value of the day. My best bet of the day is race 4, number 1, Spanish Reef. And my lay of the day is in the Newmarket, Bivouac. Jacko, what do you got?
Go to Nico first. I have to find
Alright,
out.
I think most likely winning chance, Montesira, she'll kick you off to a good start.
Don't you dare say
I-
on the mailbag the most likely winning chance. This is your best, your value, and your lay.
Well, I agree with you. Spanish Reef looks the best bet of the day. Race 4, number 1. Value, I reckon race 2, the Watchman, horse number 9, is a bit of value, around $11 there. I think he'll give us a good sight there. And lay of the day, I think Love and Gabby's taking up too much market percentage.
Love it.
in the
Good
Newmarket.
boy. Jacko?
Best bet race 4, number 1, Spanish Reef. Lay of the day.
There's a lot of pressure on Spanish Reef shop. Delaney, if you're watching, don't hang out at Crown for too long. Get home, get yourself right, and get this right spot on, please.
Lay of the day, race 6, number 1, Geetra. Cannot possibly win. And best value, race 8, number 4, Harlem.
Beautiful. All right. That's us. We've got mounting our mail from Flemington for the big day at Flemington Super Saturday. That's what they call it, isn't it?
Yep, Super Saturday.
And the Round with Guineas, we've got that covered too by Rob Scurry. Head to the mailbag.com.au, get on board. I don't know how you can bet without it. It's last minute, late mail, betting advice, plus a mounting out report on the key runners. I hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week. Bye.